Welcome to WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. And now, here's your host, Randy Harris.
Welcome to WFPC Podcasting. This is a weekly look at news, information, and the people in and around Pike County. Pike County has a rich history of coal mining, agriculture, great people, and a lot of outstanding musicians. A fellow who's been on the forefront of Pike County's music scene for 7 decades is Tony Rothrock. Your sister Nola told me years and years ago that you picked up, when you were a little bitty toddler, you picked up a plastic guitar from the hardware store or something like that, and it just came naturally. You found a neighbor who had a piano, and it just came naturally. You've been a musician your whole life.
I have, as long as I can remember. My first instrument wasn't an instrument, though. I was about 3 years old, and I discovered the screen door spring would make a noise that I like to hear when I rub my fingers across it. And I rubbed my fingers across it and wore them raw until I realized that I had wounded myself. And Mom could not understand why I stood there so long and wore all the hide off my fingers. And I can't either, come to think of it, but I don't guess it was hurting. I was so enthused with the sound it made. And then from there, I went to plastic guitars and anything that made music.
That's fabulous. That's a interesting story.
It's true.
You continued through grade school, through high school.
I was in the high school band. I played a guitar in the high school band. Mr. Fender, the music teacher, tried to teach me to read music, but I would have none of that. I learned everything by ear.
Mr. Fender, that's a great name for a music teacher.
Yeah, I kind of like the guitar.
Did you graduate in 1962? Two. And then you went into the Navy?
I went into the Navy in 61, actually.
You went pre-graduation?
I did, and finished up in the Navy.
And in the Navy, you had a band?
The Little Rockers. I was stationed on the USS Little Rock out of Norfolk, Virginia, and it wasn't too long until we formed a band. And when the Beatles got real popular, the lead singer, he'd like to hear the girls scream, so we did all Beatles stuff back then.
That was a phenomenon, wasn't it?
It was.
You come back to Pike County. You become a coal miner.
I did. Retired.
Become a father. You've got kids, but you've always got this music with you, and you loved the old music.
Got interested in old fiddle tunes early on, even before I went to the Navy. I learned a few chords, and there was a man named Hardy Wade locally that my dad used to take me over there and drop me off, and he would teach me chords and how to back up the fiddle tunes that he knew how to play.
What don't you play?
Lots of things I don't play, and lots of things I don't play well.
Hardy did so. I assume he was old-time music.
He was, yeah. He was the kindest man that I've ever been around. His wife, Virgie, would yell at him that it was supper time. If I happened to be there, he dragged me into the kitchen and made me eat with him.
And where was this? Was it in Winslow, South Winslow?
No, it was on Old 64 in Arthur.
All right. And you traveled through the area with a couple of friends playing their music festivals?
That came later.
Did it? What happened in between?
Well, I had I was in different bands. It wasn't really a band. It was just friends that we would get together in each other's houses and just play for the fun of it. I didn't really start a band until the 70s, and that was the Patoka Valley Boys, all local musicians.
Gerald Sharp.
Gerald and Jim Woolsey and Ed Riley and Red Swain.
Hector.
And Hector. Yeah, Hector was,
Hector Phillips. He played a Jew's harp.
No, that was Vernie Cummins.
That was Vernie, okay.
And Hector was a fiddle player, a great fiddle player. I learned a lot from Hector. I tried to play the fiddle for a while, and I realized I could only use it to torture people, and it's still that way. I don't play a fiddle very well. It's the hardest instrument to play, I think. No frets. It's all ear. And that bow, it's so unnatural. I want to throw the bow down and grab a pick. But that don't help either.
Somebody asked me to ask you, what is your favorite kind of pick?
Well, blue chip is a really good pick. I like real tortoise shell. I have some of those, but they're illegal, so you can't buy them whenever you need them. Endangered species.
Charlie Butler one time was a guy that you got to know who is pretty well known in your industry.
Yeah, from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Yeah. He coordinated a good-sized contest in Elizabethtown, and I won my first trophy at his contest on the harmonica, of all things.
He told me one time, he said, you win so many things at so many different instruments because he said there's a reason for that. But he bragged on your guitar, on your mandolin, on your banjo, on your harmonica.
Oh, yeah. Some people say I spread myself a little bit thin, and I probably do. And now it's steel guitar. I'm kind of eat up with that. I love that
that's
more
your
than
big
anything.
one.
I believe it is now.
I see your videos on YouTube, and that seems to be your preferred instrument.
Well, I'm older and lazier, and I get to sit down and play, and the only hard part is setting it up and breaking it down.
So you leave it where it is.
The steel guitar is a relaxing instrument. You use both feet, both knees, and both hands. That sounds like a lot, but once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad. I think I could teach anyone to play a steel guitar.
I might struggle with it.
We'll try it later.
In your Pike County Old Time Music Association kind of grew into the Patoka Valley Boys?
It did. Yeah, the Patoka Valley Boys came out of that organization.
And then the Patoka Valley Boys kind of grew into you traveling all over, and then you started something here in about 1983, the Pickin' and Fiddling Contest. Tell us about that.
Well, I had been going to other contests in Tennessee and Kentucky and a few in northern Indiana. And I got to thinking, Indiana don't have a contest like all those other states. And I tried to get some people to start one, and the first question was, how much money can I make with it? And I know, well, it probably cost you money. Well, they didn't want anything to do with that. So I started it myself. The first two or three was in Winslow in Miller Field, and then we came to Petersburg.
Well, and you had some help. I think Bob Mitchell with Old Ben Cole.
Oh, yeah, that was a big help. They sponsored it.
And you had Don and Lyndall Hume help.
They secured the official title.
And it grew and grew. That is what I was doing on the night of the tornado.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I was your MC, and for some reason I don't remember if I came in after Jim Pell or Rob Waddle, but we switched, and I had just gone home right before that tornado came in.
Yeah, I was right in the middle of it. Kenny Carden was there, and for some reason he stayed in his Cadillac. And I was looking out the door of that Cadillac, and it would be up on the left side, then it'd go up on the right side, and he was bouncing around in there like a rubber ball, but he survived like we all did.
Yeah, 100 and I might be wrong on this, but I think there were about 113 trees that were destroyed in that park that night.
Yeah, it uprooted a lot of them. The sound man had his camper down there in the middle of the park, and it wound up upside down, but he wasn't hurt. Luckily, nobody was hurt.
Joe Dedman and I were communicating, and he mentioned, ask Tony about the 1978 concert at Roberts Stadium. You were with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Right.
What do you remember about that?
Well, we were just one of the bands that were called to perform before the good band, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
You were the opener.
We were the opener, yeah. We were always the nobody band that just opened for other people.
But you mentioned, some of the people, and the one I know the best is Jim Woolsey. You've played with a lot of talented people just right here in Pike County.
My own son is one of them.
He's the next thing on my list. Tell us about Chris.
Well, I asked Chris when he was about 10 or 11 years old if he wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and he said he did. Well, he's left-handed on most things, right on some things. So I handed him a guitar, and I said, tell me which way you want to hold it. And he held it this way, and then he held it the other way. He said, I think I want to play it this way. I said, oh, good. It's right-handed.
That made it easy.
But he won the Indiana State Championship in the guitar category when he was 16 years old.
Wow.
But now he's more interested in building. He builds some great guitars.
I've been told that his guitar is the best out there.
Well, there's a lot of good guitars out there. I'll just say it's among the best. I have two of them. I like both of them.
We need to get Chris in here on this program.
Oh, yeah, we'll get him. Yeah. He puts together 2 jam sessions every year. There's one coming up in September at Rusty McDonald's. He calls it the Animal House. He's a big game hunter, and he's got the heads and everything on the walls. September the 13th. That's going to be great. It's not open to the public, but I'm sure anybody would be welcome. But he has some of the best musicians I've ever heard come for that. Solly Burton, Joe Whittinghill, Mike Sumner. It wasn't too long after Chris learned to play. He was backing me up in the contest and doing a fine job. The judges used to tell me they watched him closer than they did me. Probably a good thing. And then he put together a band of his own. He came home from school one day and he said, Dad, I want to start a band. I said, well, gather them up who you want and I'll help you get started. He got everybody. He got Mike Sumner on the banjo.
Wow.
You know Mike.
He's big time.
Eddie Fiscus on bass. Well, before Eddie, the bass was the last thing he could find. He tried a few people on bass and they just wouldn't work out. They wanted to play, but they just didn't have the talent. He come in and he said, I found a bass player. I said, who is it? He said, Eddie Fiscus, right across the road. And he still plays. And in fact, he's playing with Jim and Lena Woolsey now.
That worked out well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Did you talked about Mike Sumner? Did you ever play with Bert and Joe and that group?
I have at different times, not a lot. Mike is what, 2 or 3 national champion banjo player?
I just
2 or
know
3
he
times.
is. Yeah, he's great.
That's tough out there. That's a big contest. Weezer. Not Weezer.
Tony, we're going to take a break. We're going to pay a couple of bills, and then we're going to come back and talk more music. And I'm going to ask you to play a tune or two. Recently, the real estate market has been unpredictable, but at Harris Real Estate, we still have clients looking for homes and properties. Let us help you sell your home or property and/or find your next one. We're local. We know the business. We know the community. Harris Real Estate has listed and sold hundreds of properties right here. Harris Real Estate, 812-380-1065. Also, when you wash your car or vehicle on a regular basis, there are many advantages. You're easier to see, you preserve the life of your vehicle, help maintain its value, protect its paint, prevent corrosion, and it just looks better. It only takes 6 quarters or your credit card to get it started. Stop by Petersburg Car Wash today. Petersburg Car Wash, home of the Springtime Yellow Mustang, 401 South 9th Street, Petersburg. Keep it clean. Tony, play us a tune. I did not bring a pick. You might shake it and see if there's one rattling around, but... Beautiful. Do you have a favorite song?
No, not really.
You know hundreds and hundreds of songs, don't you?
Well, quite a few. I don't even have a favorite instrument. It's whatever I happen to be have in my hands at the time.
You walked in the door, you were empty-handed, and that one is one that you refurbished a while back. It was my mother-in-law's dad's, and he would carry that around, and my mother-in-law, as a little girl, would sing in churches with him playing the guitar for her. When he was moving into the nursing home, we were cleaning out the shed, and that was water-soaked, warped, and you did a beautiful job with it.
Yeah, I remember this thing was all apart everywhere and didn't have a bridge. I made this bridge.
Perfect. That has become quite a hobby for you to repair guitars?
Well, I stay busy about five days a week. I'm the only guy around that does this, especially as cheap as I work. That's why I have so many customers.
And unfortunately, you've got a repeat one with me, but I always see something and think, boy, that'd be a good project for Tony.
Oh, speaking of guitars, your 12-string, I finally have all the parts. Got the bridge glued on. All I got to do is put on the tuners and the strings, and I'll bring it to you.
Well, or I can stop by your shop.
Okay.
Place another tune.
It's kind of hard without a pick.
I'm sorry, buddy.
But
I did not.
That's okay.
If Clay would come in, he's probably got a pick in his pocket. He's the one that asked me. Perfect. What music soothes the savage beast, doesn't it?
That's what they say. I've never tried it. You get one in here and we'll see if we can soothe him.
That you today, do you still travel to nursing homes and play?
Not so much anymore. I had a bad motor scooter wreck. Be 3 years this October, and it knocked out a lot of my hearing. But just in the last 2 or 3 days, I think it's coming back.
Wonderful.
So I may start doing that again. But I'm 82 years old. It's not as much fun to carry that stuff around and set it up anymore.
But you've got your steel guitar, you've got Facebook, and you put a lot of reels on there, don't you?
I keep that set up. There's one set up in the shop, one set up over at Jerry Willis's music room, and one set up in the house. So, yeah, I'm not too far from a steel.
Joe Stewart still drops by
Yeah, he does.
and plays with you.
He's a good singer and a good guitar player.
Good. And Jerry's doing okay?
Yep.
Good. Why don't you give us one more song?
Sure wish I had a pick.
I'm sorry, Tony.
That's all right.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us for this program of WFPC Podcasting. The program is brought to you by Harris Real Estate and Petersburg Car Wash. Please like the podcast and share with your friends so more people can hear about WFPC. You may find us on our website, on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your favorite media. Join us next Friday for another WFPC podcast exploring the people, information, and news right here in Pike County. See you next week.
Welcome to WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. From back roads to town centers, we bring you the voices, stories, and news that shape our community. Join us on this journey through the past, present, and future of Pike County, Indiana. Tune in next week for the next episode of WFPC Podcasting.